Hi, you're watching Floyd Steinberg's YouTube channel. Today, let's once again take a look at the Yamaha EX5's capabilities for YouTube synth jams. That means sound tweaking, arpeggiating, big reverbs, you know the deal. So let's take a look how to set this all up and then do a short live jam. Here we go. As always, we'll start with the EX5's default patch, the piano. Press the Edit button. We're going to use the AWM engine today. That means subtractive synthesis on samples. First, we'll turn off all the effects. Go to the effects page by pressing the button on the far right of the keyboard and now move the cursor to the reverb and chorus boxes and turn them off. Also, set the reverb send to 0 and the piano should sound very dry now. I'll create a saw wave plug with a short decay and release time for this example. Go to the oscillator page, move the cursor to the left column and select Pre-241, which will give you one of the pre-installed saw wave samples. Repeat that for all 4 oscillators or voices possible. Now adjust the amplitude envelope, reduce the release time to around 24, then set the sustain value to 0 and the release value to around 70, so this sound quickly fades away even if you hold the keys pressed down. Repeat this for all 4 oscillators and you should end up with a sound like this. Next, let's set up a low-pass filter. YouTube guidelines clearly state that the synth jam videos are required to have at least one filter sweep in them, so let's follow that rule by pressing the filter button and making some adjustments. First, we'll turn off the filter envelope though, so go to the Sends tab and set the EG depth value to null. This allows us to take full manual control of the filter. And now go to the DCF tab and reduce the filter cutoff frequency value to roughly half of the original. So that's 127 instead of 255. By the way, there's a bug on the EX5 which will offset the filter cutoff frequency at first. In order to get around that, just change the filter type once and then change it back. Our patch now sounds like this. Now let's go to the Common page, press the Name tab, give this sound a name and store it. The basics are in the bag. Now let's set up a control matrix so we can tweak this sound while playing notes using the silk knobs here and the mod wheels. Go to the controls page using the button on the right side of the keyboard, open the control tab and move the cursor to the option reading KN1. Turn that option on to select the first knob using the jog wheel. And now move the cursor to the left column and switch this control on for all oscillators. Then in the bottom row set the destination to 78 AWM cutoff frequency. Set the depth to around 10 in the right corner and then press the knob mode button so you can test your settings. Here, a depth of 8 seems to be sufficient to fully open and close the filter. Let's continue by assigning filter resonance strength to the second encoder in the same way. Check KN2, select destination 77 in the bottom row and switch on that for all the voices. Here's the result. I think we can double the depth here. Knob 3 is going to control attack time, or number 64 in a control matrix. You have to try some depth values to hit a sweet spot, but in this example a depth of 28 seems to work well. I'll assign decay time, or how slowly or quickly the sound fades away, to the sustain level to knob number 4. The destination number is 66 and the depth of 12 seems to work best here. But this will work well only if we also control the release time all the time until the sound fades away after releasing a key with the same knob, the same depth. So the destination number here is 69 and the depth once again is 12. Knob 5 will change the panning or stereo position of the voices. We will assign one rule to the first two voices and another rule to the other two. Destination is 46, and the first rule will have a positive depth and the second rule will have a negative depth. So once you turn the knob, the oscillators will start moving in opposite directions. Let's determine a good depth first. Okay, I think we should set this to the maximum of 63. Now add another rule with the same destination on the same knob for the other two oscillators. The effect is barely audible, so now let's make a short excursion to the pitch page and detune some of the oscillators slightly. After that, you can hear the oscillators moving around. The last knob will control the fine-tuning of two of the oscillators. This destination is 47 and a depth of 12 should be enough. Now let's add some insert effects. Press the effects button and then move the cursor to the left column and switch on the insert effects for all the voices. I'm going to add a stereo delay and an amp simulator. Set up the amp simulator with no distortion and full dry balance first and leave all the other parameters at their default value. Now go back to the controls page and add another control rule with destination 25 mapped to the mod wheel 1 with a depth of 63. This will allow you to control the dry-wet balance of the effect. We also want to control the amp drive, so add another rule for mod wheel 1 with destination 20 and a depth around 10. And now we have this sound. Oh, by the way, if you like content like this, please consider subscribing and pressing that like button. Seeing the subscriber numbers grow makes me happy and keeps me motivated to push out a new video every week or so. Also, if you want to support me further, you can download my music on Bandcamp or download my sound sets on Gumroad. Thank you. Are you still with me? Fine, cause next we need to set up a performance, with the main goal to create a keyboard split. So press the performance button, then press the job button, choose init, press enter, then press exit, and then the edit button. Now in the first two rows on the multi-screen, you can choose the sound bank and the patch we just created. Now on the second channel, choose any sound you like to play melodies. I'm going to use an electric piano sound here. Next, move the cursor down and switch on the insert effects for both sounds. Then set up the note ranges as needed. In this example, the left hand will go up to C3 and the right hand will begin there. There's also a possibility to transpose the instrument, so I'll bring the right hand down by an octave. Now let's set up the global effects. We want a big reverb here because the YouTube guidelines for synth jams say so. Press the F1 key until you've reached the effects setup screen, and here move the cursor to the valve icon connecting the chorus to the reverb and set the amount to 127. In the bottom right corner, set the amount of chorus passed on directly to null. Now set up the first effect to be Hall 2 with a length of 4.7 seconds. You can set all the pre-reverb and early reflections to 0 and also reduce the low-pass filter cutoff frequency to around 1 kHz. Then select the left and right delay as the chorus effect. Set all the delay times to be multiples of 333. Try changing these times to your liking. Once you're done, you should have a big reverb going on. Now go back to the multi-screen and adjust the reverb sound so the reverb isn't overpowering but rather complementing the sound. You're still here, great! In the last step of preparation, I'm going to record some patterns and assign them to individual keys on the keyboard for playback, so I can just trigger patterns with one finger while tweaking the sounds using the encoders and stuff. So press the pattern button, press record, choose step recording, set the note length and the velocity, and then just record some notes. Once you've recorded all your patterns, press the Performance Mode button and then the Key Map button. You will now see a list of all the keys on the keyboard, and now move the cursor to the key you want to use to trigger a pattern, and then use the jog wheel to select the pattern that key should trigger. Also set the mode to gate. In this case, the pattern will stop playing once you release the key. Okay, all the preparations are done. Now let's see which sounds we can get with this simple setup. Here's what I came up with. Yeah, and that's it for today. YouTube synth jams on the Yamaha EX5. And if you found this interesting and useful, please consider subscribing to this channel. And as always, thanks for watching and see you again very soon. Bye bye!